What is up, gym fans? It is the week of November 10th. I'm Patricia.
And I'm Carissa.
And this is Decoded.
Woo! Slay.
Yay. Another week of November trying to find things to talk about. JK, we actually have a lot to talk about, so.
I know. Patricia's been breaking news all morning.
It has been a stressful day. We were supposed to record this podcast this morning, but then I guess my stick, maybe, I don't know. One of my best friends had a baby early. Yay.
Everybody around me is having children.
Everybody's having children. But
I love that.
It's great. She lives 2 doors down from me, and we've been trying to help support them because they were supposed to get induced next week, and
baby said no.
The baby said, I'm coming today. Actually, she went into labor last night and then had the baby this morning. So
baby was ready.
But yes, once they get older, obviously, James and Henry are 5 months apart, so they're gonna be besties.
Besties, love that.
Be really fun. So yeah, there was that, and I was like, Carissa, help me. And then it actually worked out because USAG Gymnastics reached out and was just like, we've got news coming up at 12. Like, we've got the, embargoed release. Do you want it? And we were like, yes, whatever the news is. I thought it was going to be American Cup stuff. And I was just like, amazing. Finally know some more stuff about American Cup, the American Cup revitalization. But no, it was the CEO. So,
yep. We'll talk about that.
Not Leanne Wong. We'll talk about it soon.
Okay, is that your stick? You used that.
My stick was the baby. Yep.
Love.
I should have said wobble first, but you go.
No, it's fine. My stick is that my sister and my stepmom are on their way here from New Jersey.
Yay!
Get to see them tomorrow. And I'm so excited. My little sister's 12 and she's my best friend.
Are you going to watch Stick It with her?
Yeah, I am.
Have we heard anything about, has anybody suggested any movies for us to watch for our Christmas movie, not our Christmas gymnastics movie watch and breakdown? Or are we just going to do Stick It?
No, I fear we're doing Stick It.
Okay.
Fine with me.
We'll do it. That'll be an episode next month.
Watch every episode of Make It or Break It.
Oh, I need to go back and watch that. I bet you I was living for the drama when I was a kid, but I bet you just like Twilight, I would go back and I would be like, and like laugh my butt off.
I wasn't allowed to watch it, which is crazy because my parents weren't strict about anything and then they would randomly get strict about stuff.
I would like randomly, I was really into Buffy the Vampire Slayer when I was a kid.
Okay.
And my mom was just like, you can't watch that. And I was just like, I just don't.
Well, now I want to watch it more.
I don't see what the deal is. It's not really that bad. I won't even touch on my childhood, but. So.
All right, what's your wobble?
My wobble, I don't know how discombobulated I am. But no, probably Henry's just been really fussy. We think he might be teething. I'm not sure. So just one of those weeks where it's a challenge being a new parent. So he's still the most precious thing on the planet. Like he was learning to basically pet our cat earlier today. I mean, he was just reaching out and the cat was running back and forth, but he kept putting his hand down. So that was really sweet, and it's great to see his little brain start revving up for life. But with that comes, fussiness. Basically, when they're learning something, they go on nap strikes and sleep strikes, and they get super hungry when they're growing a ton, and so they get really fussy. And so those are the things that we're learning. Like when he's going through these fussy phases and stuff, he's about to do something either crazy or it is development, but it's like, oh, now I can pick my nose. He's not picking his nose, but it's really stuff like that. You never know when they're going through a nap strike if they're going to start walking, or my kid's 5 months, he's not walking, or if they're literally going to be my new skill is I'm going to pick some dig for gold. Yep. You just
Ugh.
never know. It's crazy,
Yeah.
but it's developmental. It's all part of the experience.
God bless you. My wobble's that I'm sick, and I'm pretty sure it's from being a cheerleading coach and my grubby high school kids.
I'm sure it is.
Love them. Hey, guys, love ya. If you see this, they won't see this, but if they see it, love ya. But one
It'd
of
be
you
so funny if they discover the
definitely got me
podcast.
sick.
Yeah.
What'd you say?
I said it'd be so
Yeah.
funny if one of them found this podcast.
No,
Like,
it
people
really wouldn't.
Mm-mm. Okay. Don't find
I'm
this
scared
podcast.
every day that they'll find my TikTok.
All right. Let's
Top 10?
let's go into what you came for.
Yes.
The gymnastics news. So, let's go to our top 10 gymnastics headlines of the week. This is where we catch you up on the gym stories of the week and give you the gist of what you need to know in our GN top 10. Starting us off, number 1, the Trampoline World Championships concluded on Sunday, November 9th in Pamplona, Spain. There were 16 world titles awarded, with the U.S. finishing atop the medal standings, thanks in large part to Ruben Padilla. We will discuss more in our next segment.
Headline number 2, USA Gymnastics has a new president and CEO. Kyle Albrecht was announced as Lili Liang's replacement effective January 1st, 2026. Liang shared she would be leaving her post in June.
Number 3, Lorenzo Bonicelli spoke with Italian media on Monday, seeming in good spirits and sharing his message to himself: never give up. After sustaining a neck injury doing a triple back offerings at the World University Games over the summer, Bonicelli underwent surgery in Germany to reduce trauma to his spine. He has since moved to a hospital in Italy where he is recovering, surrounded by his family and girlfriend.
Headline number 4, Jordan Childs and Ezra Sosa took their dancing prowess to the basketball court over the weekend, performing at halftime of a UCLA basketball game. We're still in awe that Jordan is balancing dancing, school, training, and appearances, let alone taking the time to perform at a basketball game. Slay, girl.
Go, girl. Number 5, National Signing Day was Wednesday. The class of 2026 signed their national letters of intent. Headlining the women's class are a slew of college gym news 5-stars. The top recruit by ranking is Presley Duke, who is committed to Oklahoma. Other big names in the class include Jayla Hank, who's committed to Florida, Hesley Rivera, who's committed to LSU, Simone Rose and Dulcie Kaler, also both going to Florida. And that's just to name a few. It's a massive class with a lot of talent. The men's signees are headlined by Maxime Khan, Kiefer Hong, and Dante Reeve. Khan and Hong are going to Stanford, and Reeve is going to Oklahoma. And that men's class is also pretty stacked. So, congrats.
Congrats. Headline number 6, Rebecca Andrade is reportedly taking a break to focus on her health after a successful Paris Games, but she is expected to return to competition in 2026. She has said that she is planning to retire after the 2028 Olympics unless the team needs her, and she is definitely healthy enough to compete. The big question is, when will they not need her? And definitely a Simone situation. Those are some pretty big shoes they'd have to fill.
That's such an
I'll get
interesting thing. I'm
I
like,
know.
girl, if the team
I'm like,
always needs you,
they're
you're gonna be
literally
competing.
never gonna tell you to go, like,
Yeah.
ever.
Nobody's gonna tell you to go. They're really like, we need you, Rebecca.
Literally forever.
Definitely crazy. Okay. Number 7, the Junior Artistic World Championships are next week, set for November 20th to 24th. The meet will be held in the Marriott Grand Ballroom in Manila, Philippines. The U.S. delegation consists of Charlie Bullock, Lavi Crane, Caroline Moreau, Danila Lakin, Dante Reeve, and Nathan Roman, all up-and-coming stars who we're excited to see develop in the next few years.
Trigger warning, apparently I have an accent that affects the way I say this name, so I'm sorry, y'all. Anyways, headline number 8, welcome back, Yul Moldauer. Well, so finishing up his 16-month suspension for a whereabouts violation, Moldauer is allowed to return to training today. Read more about his suspension on gymnasticsnow.com, but Yul has been teasing his return and seems very excited about the quad ahead. Again, I'm so sorry.
I'm not berating Carissa. It's just the emphasis. I think it really is her accent. It's Yul Moldauer, but you're fine.
I'm from all over, and it just really makes pronouncing things hard, apparently.
I think it just clicked because we talked about him last week, and I think it really is like your accent and how you emphasize things with your accent, because I was just like, what is happening? But you do say certain things differently, and I'm just like, she's
Yeah.
saying it right, but it's different at the same time. I'm not picking on Carissa. I'm
No, like, it's
literally a
fine.
country
Pick on
bumpkin
me.
from Georgia, so
I'm just, like, not good at pronunciations.
you're fine. You're
Picked
doing
the
a great
wrong
job.
career.
You're
Kidding.
doing fine. You're doing great, sweetie.
Thanks, I need that today.
Also, by the way, if y'all see my cup, I want y'all to know this is indicative of where I live. This is Country's
Yes.
Barbecue, the pig.
Yeah, they have, like, crazy good food.
They do. Mm-hmm.
They do be having good food.
Okay. I went to another barbecue place in Columbus last night, and they had their sweet tea in a trash can. That
Yeah, that's real Southern.
I was like, that's. Sometimes I'm like, look, guys, I say I'm from Georgia, but I'm not from like middle Georgia, countryland Georgia. We are still in a city, not a big city, but a city. But then I'm just like, oh, not that far,
You're
not
not
that
that far,
far away.
babes. You're not that far. You're also no. Okay, you go.
Yep. It's okay. Um, I'll believe what I believe about myself. All right, friends. Number 9, France's Ming van Eycken, who competed at Paris 2024, is visiting colleges as she looks at an NCAA career. She has already visited Florida, Georgia, and UCLA. Georgia is, of course, where former French gymnast Cécile Concateau-Landy is the head coach. So if we had to bet, we think Ming might be leaning towards the Bulldogs. It's like that taste of home and the fact that, like, your coach is
Yeah.
from France and you can speak French to her.
Oh, for sure.
Like, I would be I'm not saying that the other schools don't have any chance. I have no idea. But
I that would make sense to me.
that would so make sense. Plus, Georgia's on the East Coast, so she could easily go home to France if she needed
Yeah.
to. And yeah, it's a
People don't
big
think about that
change.
a lot. That it's a lot easier to travel from the East Coast to Europe than it is.
Yeah, because like if you're at
Like, going to
UCLA,
California versus Georgia is a even bigger jump.
yes, if you are European and watching this, it is a big jump.
Our final headline, number 10, the Denisa Gogoda and Sabrina Camila Voinia situation will reportedly go to a disciplinary hearing involving multiple cases. Romanian Gymnastics has already said they will conduct an independent investigation into the situation after Gogoda said her initial reports of harassment were ignored earlier this year. Gogoda and Voinia cannot train together currently. That
I
thing's
don't think
crazy.
they don't want to train together anyways.
I don't think they want to see each other.
Nope. Okay, so now that we've given you the rundown of the gym news, we want to go into specific stories that we think need a little bit more attention, and we have some explaining to do. First, can we admire this angelic glow that I have coming through
You're like an angel.
with the sun setting? Wow.
Gymnastics angel is what you are.
Okay, our first topic, and we have some explaining to do, is trampoline and tumbling worlds. Let's just like recap the winners and the shocks and the upsets, and yeah. So this was the last major world championships for gymnastics this year as far as the Olympic disciplines go. So we already had rhythmic, artistic, and then trampoline round out the 3 Olympic disciplines. It was a great world. It was awesome to
It
watch
was.
it all unfold. They gave me some drama because I had done a like preview and how to watch story. And it was supposed to be on Eurovision and like free, only finals. Which I have a problem. Stream qualifications, that's my beef with all of it. But that being said, it was supposed to be on Eurovision and it they like literally last minute, like we have worked with the Eurovision team to help like just kind of tell people about this free stream that's happening with a lot of these things because they've done a lot of stuff, rhythmic, artistic, trampoline this year. And they like messaged me last minute, it's not them, but they're just like, oh, now Peacock has it in the States. And I'm just like, come on. And I'm talking like USA Gymnastics. This was like so last minute. Like it was like, let's say it was starting at like 11:30 and USA Gymnastics tweeted at like 11 was just like, watch it live on Eurovision Sport. And I had already put in the story and stuff. And then like at like basically 11:30, like at like streaming time, they're like, Peacock has it
Also,
now.
Peacock. I hate that. Annoying.
And then the most frustrating
It's
thing
just
is
stuff like that that makes it, like, so confusing for people.
it
And,
does
like,
because
then people just don't even wanna follow because they're like, this is annoying."
it's really rough because, um, yeah, I think, like, they did the same I think, and I could be wrong. I believe they did a similar thing with Rhythmic over the summer, Rhythmic Worlds, because I had, like, done a preview and how to watch story, and I was just like, "Okay, it's gonna be on Eurovision, but then we don't have it in the States," and, like, I hadn't seen anything about Peacock having it,
Yeah.
um, because they hadn't promoted it or anything, and then they ended up having it. And then for Artistic Worlds, there was, like I had already communicated with Eurovision Sport, and I was just like, "Oh, okay, like, they're gonna have qualifications." I was never under the impression otherwise, but then there was, like, a rumor that they weren't gonna have qualifications, and I was just like, "Not this again," because that happened just a couple of years ago in the last quad when they didn't stream qualifications, and I'm just like, that's unacceptable at this
No,
level of sport, and you
no,
should absolutely be streaming it, especially when you already have cameras on.
I know. It's just dumb.
So that was dumb, and then but they didn't end up having qualifications and finals. Of course, qualifications was on Eurovision for Artistic, and then NBC Peacock had finals, normal. But, like,
Yeah.
this last minute thing, it just makes it so hard because everybody's expecting it to be on Eurovision, and of course, it's free, it's accessible,
Mhm.
and then it goes behind the paywall on Peacock, which, okay, that's fine, NBC's the Olympic sponsor here. I literally work for NBC as a
I know.
contractor. I'm not hating on NBC, to be very 100% clear.
But
But it's just, like, last minute,
yeah.
that it's gonna be on Peacock, and it's like, "Oh, okay, well, like, I didn't see a lot of messaging around that, and I did not see a lot of, like, tweets, other things, like, basically promoting Trampoline Worlds now that it was on Peacock." And so, yeah, there's just, like it's just, like, it makes it confusing, and because it's so last minute, you're gonna lose some of the audience because the audience is just like, "Oh, okay, like, it's gonna be on Eurovision," and then suddenly it's geo-blocked, and they don't necessarily know,
No, for sure.
and people aren't gonna unless they're, like, hardcore fans or, like, family members or something, they're not gonna, dig to find out where it now is.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's just a challenge. I just think marketing-wise and all of that, like, I wish it was a little bit more buttoned up and, like, we knew
Yeah.
these things, but just, like, a week in advance. Just, like,
Yeah.
finalize these things a week in advance.
I completely agree.
But, um, I think more than anything, that's more of a fig thing. That's not anything on, like, NBC or Eurovision Sport or anything.
No.
It's just managing those things and those rights and stuff, and that falls on fig.
Oh,
So
100%.
but I think obviously if the sport is gonna continue to grow, not just trampoline, but all around gymnastics, like, it just
We gotta
needs to be
keep up
yeah, we need to be more buttoned up, we need to get these things together
for sure.
earlier on. So,
I
that's the harp. Alright, so as far as how things played out, well, medal table-wise, the US finished atop the medal podium, or the medal table, medal standings,
yeah.
with 6 medals. There were 16 world titles in total. Japan was 2nd or not Japan, China was 2nd, Japan was 3rd on the medal table. Um, but I feel like there's so much more now, don't get me wrong, I think artistic is definitely, like, heading in this way because there have been so many athletes who have won historic medals for their countries and stuff in the past few years and everything, but there's so much parity among trampoline and tumbling. Like,
Yeah.
as far as this medal table goes, there's 11 let's see, actually, 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 countries won medals.
Mhm.
Um, and then of those countries, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4 won more than 4.
Yeah.
Um, but, like, on of those 12 countries, 10 of them won multiple medals. So, it's just like, you're just I feel as though you're seeing a lot it's not as much there's still, like, the dominant teams, countries,
Yeah.
but, that probably just the big countries that just in general are powerhouses across the sport, and so they promote gymnastics, and so they have the facilities to be able to no matter what discipline it is, they have the facilities to be able to get their athletes to train on these things.
Yeah.
But yeah, so very cool to see that parody. So that being said, the week started, so finals started on Friday. They went through Sunday.
Mhm.
On day one, France won the women's tumbling team final. The US finished fifth. Initially, the neutral athletes were leading up until like the final
Yeah.
round, and then France pulled it out.
Yeah.
The neutral athletes didn't really have like their third athlete who tumbled just was not to the
Yeah.
level of most of the other tumblers as far as difficulty goes, so they dropped they dropped off the podium
Yeah.
because of that. But yeah, that actually took forever. They they took forever to get the results. Everybody was sitting there for like I want to say it was like 10 minutes. And
Yeah.
I was just like because
Okay.
each of the athletes it is very strategic to an extent because you have 3 runs and they do them like everybody all the finalists do like 1 run and then
Yeah.
the next athletes go and they do another run and then the next athletes go and they do another run and for each run they rank all of the athletes in that run, and you get points accordingly to your ranking of the ones who went during that run.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, so that being said, seems it would be like pretty straightforward. I never got to the bottom. I didn't look into really like why it took
Yeah.
so long, what was the holdup, but it took a minute. And they were
Yeah.
all like hugging each other and stuff. But then ultimately, France won, Great Britain was second, and Belgium was third. Um, The US followed up in men's double mini, the men's double mini team final, because they have a million team finals in trampoline and tumbling.
They do.
And um, Ruben Padilla, Trevor Harder, Simon Smith, and Wes Fowler won gold for the men's double mini team final for the US.
Yes.
That was kind of a given if basically they hit their stuff. They were gonna
Yeah.
do that because I think of the athletes, I think, like, the US was the only one in qualifying, at least, for the double mini guys to put up, like, all scores of, like, all 30
Oh, yes,
plus.
all above 30 plus. Yeah.
So, that was really cool. So, basically, they just have way more difficulty than the rest of the
Difficulty
group.
is insane. Yeah.
So, they were able to they won by 6 points versus, like, the women's final, France won by 1 point.
Yeah.
Um,
No, they're
so,
insane. They're super fun
uh,
to watch too.
yeah, double minis, I would say double minis my favorite to watch,
Yeah.
probably.
I love watching tumbling, but for trampoline, I like double mini.
It's all of them are fun to watch. The craziest thing is that look, artistic needs to take some points. I just literally got done talking about how it took so long to get the final results for the women's tumbling final. That being said, they have 16 medal events and they
Mhm.
crank this event out.
No, it's insane. It's like you blink and it's over.
Oh yeah, like it's
It's
like
so
one event, it's just like 30 minutes for this final, 30 minutes for this final, pew, 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 going.
Yep.
Now, that being said, I understand because, like, all around you gotta rotate to all these different events and stuff, and it's gonna take more
Yeah.
time, but I do think there are probably some areas that artistic could improve in
No, for sure.
if you watch the efficiency of
Yeah.
trampoline and tumbling worlds. It's just crazy. You're
No,
just
it's
like
like a machine. It's like I remember when I would watch my best friend, I would literally like we had to leave like a half hour early because you could miss it. Like it's so fast. It's like
yeah. When I was in Paris to watch individual tramp, I was
Mhm.
just like, "Oh, like, it's gonna be, an all-day thing or whatever," and then I looked at it, it was just like, "No, it's gonna be, like, a couple hours." Now, of course, they
And then
didn't do qualifying and finals, but they do it all over 1 day for Olympic
yeah, it's
trampoline.
wild.
So, like, individual, they do the qualifying, they do the final, they're out for men and women over 1 day,
Yeah.
which is
No.
why they were able to basically, like, make it an Olympic discipline also partially, like,
Yeah, because
one, they
it's
don't
so fast.
it's so fast, and then they
It's
don't have
like
that many
not a
quota
big
spots.
yeah, and it's not a big, like, pull on the Olympic
Mhm.
side. Like, it's not a big to do.
Exactly. So that's basically like part of the reason it was able to be incorporated.
Yeah.
Because like rhythmic and artistic both do take a lot of time. So like this is really like if trampoline and tumbling, if people want to take interest in it, like it's it this is made for TV as far as like
Oh, well,
all of the disciplines.
100%. It's like probably the most easy to follow.
Mhm.
It's very straightforward and it's very not time consuming. Like you don't need to
Mhm.
dedicate your whole life to it. You know what I mean? For an average fan.
I feel like it could just become so big if people just got more attention to it, if there was more, marketing behind it, if
Yeah. Marketing. It always comes back to marketing. Let's see
yeah.
what this CEO can do in the
Yeah, we'll talk
US.
about that in a minute. Um,
Uh-huh. And
but on the women's in the women's double mini team final, the US also won, really cementing the US's DMT dominance.
yep.
That team they won by 3 points. That was Aaliyah Raga, Kennedy Roberts, Grace Harder, and Susan Gill. And then Great Britain and Spain rounded out the podium.
Grace
Let's see.
Harder's video.
What'd you say?
Wait, the video of Grace Harder, like,
What?
she didn't stick it. She moved, but
Oh,
she was so emotional when she landed. I was
mm-hmm. I
so
think
sweet.
she was supposed to be in like the DMT individual,
Yeah,
but
it
something
was like
happened.
comeback story, essentially.
Okay.
So it was very heartfelt
Yeah.
when she landed, and the clip of her sobbing is like made me sob. You
So
slay queen.
on the men's tumbling team side, it actually uh, when this happened on Friday, the men's tumbling team final was on Friday. I expected this to carry over and Azerbaijan to really dominate men's tumbling, but there was
Yeah,
some shock developments. So, that being said, Azerbaijan won the men's team tumbling final, beating, they didn't edge because they beat them by 4 points, but beating out the US team. And then Denmark was third. But Azerbaijan has a ton of talent in the men's tumbling realm, specifically Mikhail Malkin and Tovik Aliyev. And then, of course, the US has a ton of talent, especially with
yeah.
West Fowler and Caden Brown.
Kaden
Um,
Brown was insane.
he is crazy. And he is the World Games champion from early this year. And if
Yes,
you don't know what the World Games is essentially the Olympics for the sports and disciplines that aren't in the Olympics.
the Olympics. Yep.
So it's held every 4 years and it's a massive thing. But yeah, so Caden won the World Games and then the Azerbaijan guys came here and then you're just like, okay, it's gonna be Caden, those guys, some other talent, but we'll get to that in a minute as far as that book goes. But the Azerbaijan guys won men's team tumbling. And so you're just like, okay, that's on Friday. You're like, okay, they're gonna do really well
Yeah.
in men's tumbling in general. No, we'll see. Okay, so moving on. Then we go to Saturday, the men's double mini final, and Ruben Padilla defended his title.
Yep.
He won by, it doesn't show the difference. Why wouldn't you do that? My brain doesn't do math. Uh,
I'm so done.
it was over 2 points. He won by over 2 points. And then Wes Fowler, who I think is like either the youngest or one of the youngest athletes on as far as his delegation goes to this Worlds, he won bronze. Mikkel Zalman, who's an AIN athlete, finished second
Yeah.
in men's double mini. And then on the women's tumbling side, Arena Kaliandra, who's also an AIN athlete, won the double mini or the women's tumbling title, beating out by 3/10 Candy Briere-Vitillard, who is from France, and she, I believe, is the reigning world champion. And that was like kind of surprising. She
Yeah.
definitely came in and was like, of course, the favorite. And then, um, yeah, so it was just crazy.
No, I was looking at the results earlier and I was just like, wow. A week ago, I would not have said these things.
The AIN athletes, of course, they don't finish on the medal podium because they're not technically a team.
Yeah. But they
But they
like,
had a really good
yeah, they like
meet.
dominated low key.
I would have to go back and add it all in, but they might actually have finished atop the podium if they were actually representing
Yeah.
their country. The curious thing, and I'll pause here to say the curious thing, and I had not gone to have not gone to the bottom of this, and I don't know why, and I should have asked Fig, but as far as like the stipulations for these AIN athletes, they're allowed to compete as individual neutral athletes. But then,
Yeah.
of course, they were not allowed to compete as a team at like artistic worlds. But then they're
Yeah.
allowed to compete in the team tumbling final and like the team events basically at this
Yeah.
worlds.
That's
And
why I'm like confused.
and the pairs and stuff. So it is very confusing, and I don't know. I'm honestly still trying to figure that out, and I hadn't seen anything about it so far. I just don't
Yeah.
I don't understand it. I don't know if it's because it's a non-Olympic discipline and it's specifically related to the Olympic disciplines. And I say non-Olympic, only individual tramp is an Olympic
Yeah.
discipline. So the rest of these are not contested at the Olympics. And so I don't know if they're just like, okay, we don't care, you can compete as a team, but like they're individual neutral athletes. So how are they competing as a team?
No, like that's what's very confusing.
And you can't finish on the like medal podium, but you can, I
No.
don't know. It's
But
just
you
very
can
confusing.
yeah. It's
So,
very confusing. They definitely need to clarify that
so if you
before.
know it, if you know why and you want to
Let us
educate
know.
us, comment.
Yeah, we'll share your comment next week.
Because I've been
Oh,
trying to get to the bottom of it and I haven't necessarily done that and I just don't understand. Maybe Fig issued a statement and I just haven't been able to find it. But
beats me.
okay. All right. In mixed synchro, which was new at this
Yeah,
Worlds, um,
which is so cool.
it is very cool. The AIN athletes won the synchro. They beat out Japan, who finished second, and then Azerbaijan finished third.
Mhm.
The U.S. pair of Sarah Webster and Ryan McCagan, they finished sixth in that debut final. And the New Zealand pair, our New Zealand couple, who
Yeah.
I mentioned last week,
Hello.
Maddie Davidson and Dylan Schmidt, they actually finished right off the podium in fourth.
I know. They're so close. They'll get there.
Okay.
We'll get you
So
there.
then we go to the men's tumbling final. No Azerbaijan athletes made it to the final. And
Nope.
there's actually two finals. So you basically have like one final and then you have a super final. This sport is crazy.
Yeah.
And then they have a million finals and then they still
Or so quick.
are still finishing it so fast. Anyways, none of the Azerbaijan athletes made it. So we're going to have a new world champion. And then Caden Brown was the U.S. athlete who made it to the super final. There's 4 athletes in the super final. So there were 2 Denmark athletes. Shout out to Denmark. And then
Literally.
Caden Brown from the U.S. and Ethan McGuinness of Australia. That being said, gonna have a new world champion. Mikel Malkin of Azerbaijan was the 2023 world champion, so he's not going to defend his title basically. So you get to the tumbling final, and it's like one run, the super final, and it's one run, and Caden Brown can't tumble out of his earlier in his pass. He went for, I believe it's a Miller skill, and he couldn't basically tumble out of it, and so only got a 14. And he's the reigning World Games champion. So admittedly, like, especially with the Azerbaijan athletes out, you're just like, okay, like he's a favorite.
He's got it, yeah.
But he couldn't finish his pass. So that's just kind of how the sport goes sometimes. And that being said, Australia's Ethan McGuinness, who won the title in 2022, was able to put it together. And he was able to win with the 2 Denmark athletes finishing second and third. So
that was wild.
But crazy how like so just for reference, like Caden Brown won the first final. He finished
No, you didn't make
over
podium.
a point ahead of McGuinness in the first final, but in the super final when it came down to it,
He couldn't.
nope. And the other 3 basically behind him in the first final, it was the medalists, McGuinness, Magnus Lindholmer, and Martin Abildgaard. And that they finished gold, silver, bronze, and they were second, third, and fourth in the first final. So, yeah, it's rough.
No, it was super rough. Like, super rough.
So, that's how the cookie crumbles sometimes. But that's also, like, that's how it happens when you're basically, like, these guys are going for massive skills and trying to push the difficulty and progress the sport.
Yep.
sometimes that stuff
And
happens.
sometimes one wrong direction or move, you can't keep going on your
Yep,
pass.
it throws you off. It throws off your axis and you can't keep going.
100%.
In women's double mini, Melania Rodriguez of Spain won. I believe she defended her title, and she defended it on home turf. So
Yeah, which is so
that's amazing. What else happened? China won the individual trampoline team final. Like I said, there are a million team finals in this. Like everything
yeah.
is contested as a team and individually. The AIN athletes won the men's individual trampoline team final, and that was actually the only medal that Ivan Litvinovic of he's an AIN athlete, as I said before, the reigning Olympic champion. That's the only medal that he left Pamplona, Spain with because he bounced out of no, I lied. He didn't. He left with the men's synchro title too.
Him.
But him and his partner won the men's synchro title. But individually, he bounced out of that final. So he did not, or like, I don't even think he made the final. Yeah, he didn't even make the final, but he bounced out earlier in like one of the semis or something. And so
Yeah.
there was a new individual champion, Wang Zisai of China. And Ruben Padilla won silver, putting men's individual for the U.S. back on the map. It's the first time in, I believe, 51 years that the men have won an individual world trampoline medal. We're talking big trampoline. Obviously, Ruben just won DMT. Like, he's won DMT a million times. But
double
that's
mini and
huge.
regular trampoline are two different things.
They're very different. So, but this individual tramp is massive. And it's crazy because, like I said before, or like last episode, he considered retiring after being named an Olympic team alternate last year.
Yeah.
And it's just
and
like,
that's why you never give up.
Don't give up, because now he's an individual trampoline world medalist, of course, continuing his DMT dominance. As I said before, he's a triple threat. He also does tumbling. And it's just the start of a quad, and he's still young. So, like,
he's so young.
You better, Ruben, go for LA.
Keep going.
You can make some history if you make it to
I agree.
LA.
We're rooting for you.
So, rounding out the medalists, the Japanese women won the women's synchro with Isabel Songhurst and Izzy Songhurst and Bryony Page winning silver, and then the Chinese pair winning bronze. And then in women's individual trampoline, the reigning Olympic champion on that side also bounced out, so didn't make the final. It was a rough day for the reigning Olympic champions. And
it was a shakeup.
It was a shakeup. That's just like wild that both of the reigning Olympic champions bounced out, but that just tells you like how volatile trampoline is because
no, it's like anybody's game. Like truly. It don't matter how many titles you've won. It's anyone's game every time you go to competition. It's crazy.
Exactly. So in artistic, of course, you know, you're just like with Simone, like if she hits, she wins. But that being said, trampoline is just so volatile because if you hit the wrong thing on that bouncy thing, you are off that thing. And then it's a terrifying fall too. And you have to be...
No, it's so scary.
You have to trust your spotters so much.
I have so much admiration for trampoline and just tumbling on rod in general because when I was training double backs, my coach wanted me to learn it on trampoline. And I said, I would rather just test my fate on the floor than learn this here. I hated trampoline. I hate twisting on trampoline. I don't like feeling like I'm not in control of my bounce.
You know,
so,
Jessica Stevens.
I give you so much prop.
Jessica Stevens, who represented the U.S., she was also in Pamplona, I believe, but she represented the U.S. at the Paris Olympics last summer. And I remember talking to her after Olympic trials, and we had like media availability with the Olympic team and stuff like the Monday after Olympic trials. We all sat in a room and sat in a circle and basically for like, I don't know, 2-3 hours, every member of the Olympic team trampoline. I don't know if Evita was there, and artistic, they all came through and talked to us. And
Yeah.
Jessica was just like, I believe her parents, or at least one of her parents, was like a professional skydiver or something. And I'm just like,
Yeah.
that's the experience you basically have to throw yourself on the trampoline and go that high and do that.
Yeah. And, like, be able to have that type of body control. Like, you have to have body control in any
Mhm.
gymnastics discipline, but for trampoline and tumbling, your body control has to be insane because you are on some very bouncy objects that could throw you in any direction.
It's
It
wild.
truly is.
Okay, but finishing it out, women's individual final, Yu Yixing of China won the women's title with Mori Hikaru of Japan winning silver and Sofiane Method of Canada winning bronze. Sofiane Method, she I'm also verifying this. I was verifying this, but yes, Sofiane also won bronze at Paris last year, so she's won bronze at Worlds too. Mori Hikaru, she's Bryony Page, the reigning Olympic champion, bounced out, so she didn't make the final. But her like international trampoline bestie, Mori Hikaru, she did finish with the silver. So I'm sure that Bryony, even though she's disappointed that she was not able to perform to the level that she's capable of, very excited for Maury. So that is the extent of Trampoline Worlds.
Crazy.
And I think real quick, touching on in our second story, touching on, did you have anything else to add with Trampoline Worlds before we continued? Sorry, Carissa.
No, you're fine. I think that was a great recap, and I think that you
Okay.
should all watch and enjoy.
Yes, go back and try to watch it on Peacock if they have the on
Yeah, you
demand.
should. Or even, like, if you go on Fig's Instagram, they did a really good job of documenting, so it's a good little rundown if you'd like.
Yeah. Yeah, we reposted, I think, most of the winning routines. And Fig has a bunch of stuff, so definitely good to just like scroll through those videos and you can
Yeah,
get a really good gist of what happened. And maybe it'll spark something for you to want to watch more.
exactly.
Um, but yeah, in our second story for we have some explaining to do. Kyle Albrecht being named the USAG CEO. We kind of already touched on this, but I really just wanted to touch on a little bit deeper, I guess.
Yeah.
As far as him replacing Lili Leong. He is a former Major League Soccer and Under Armour executive, and he has experience in marketing, event management, grassroots initiatives. These are all things that USA Gymnastics really needs help with
Yes,
and to focus on in the coming years.
especially with
Um,
2028 being in LA.
yes, especially with it's just so
It's
huge.
a huge opportunity for gymnastics to get back on the map, marketing-wise, event-wise,
Yeah.
everything. Like, we need a full reset.
So it's big shoes to fill because
Huge
Lily
shoe.
did a lot of things in her
Yeah.
tenure. And, I know that they are going to obviously miss her, like she has
Mhm.
done led the charge on so many things. I don't like to say the CEO alone has done all these things because obviously there's a whole team and
Underneath it.
all these people
Yeah.
working with them. Um, but that being said, I think there's so much potential here, especially with his specialized background.
Oh, for sure.
Um, so it'll be really interesting how things unfold with that over the next few years. Hopefully, unlike with past CEO hirings from USAG, he is not out of the position in a week because random things happen and then suddenly they're not. And then we're going through a million CEOs again. It was like Lily brought stability to the CEO
Literally.
position, and
Literally.
just
And now we're like,
hit
"Uh-oh.
hit
What
it
do we
out of the
got
park.
again?"
I'm not saying that anything is going to happen with him. He seems pretty buttoned up and
We're
seems
just kind of traumatized.
very qualified. But I was traumatized
Yeah.
by the CEOs before Lily, where you were just like, oh, what's going to happen next? How many CEOs are we going to go through?
Yep.
I know USAG doesn't want that to be the case either, so I'm sure that they did their due diligence
Yeah.
and everything's good. So that being said, I did write kind of a little like editor's take under our announcement of him as the CEO and talked about the areas where like USAG really needs help and where I think that he could help a lot. I think the
Mhm.
biggest thing is really like that marketing component and the event management, especially after championships was for artistic was so poorly attended in New
Yeah.
Orleans in August.
Mhm.
If I know it's a non-Olympic year, and I believe there was something going on that week in New Orleans or something, but that being said, if the NCAA teams can be, like, selling out these arenas, or a lot of the top ones selling out these arenas week to week during the spring for a months-long season, then events like
There's no
US
reason we can't
Yes,
for
like US
USAG.
Championships, Winter Cup, Classic, there have been attendance issues for years,
Yeah.
honestly, like and it's really a matter of, like, I understand that they need to set prices at a certain point to make their money back, but my thought process has always been, "Okay, well, if you have 100 people who attend at, like, $100, or if you
Yeah.
have 20,000 people attend at $10,
Yeah.
which one's gonna make more money?"
Exactly. It's also just, like, a matter of, like, raising the bar in
Mhm,
terms of marketing and outreach for gymnastics, that it's not
mhm.
just an Olympic year phenomenon. And I feel like that's just
Yes.
something that no CEO yet has been able to do since, like, the late '90s. Like, I feel like we hit the
Yeah.
2000s mark and it just really fell off and kept falling
Yeah, for
marketing-wise,
sure.
and you see all these other, like, the MLS and MLB and now everything else, we can do it.
Yeah, I feel like there's just a lot of, like there's a lot of natural barriers, right, in the sport as far as, like, specifically getting into it and cost and everything, so hello, Cassandra. So, that's my cat, if you're listening. So the grassroots background is great for that, like, that's gonna be
Yeah.
part of his job. His job is not just to produce Olympic gold medals, like,
No.
he's not leading the organization to Olympic gold medals, he's also supposed to be leading the organization to growth and all of that. But that being said, as far as, like, marketing and fan engagement and getting people like, basically, like, fostering these more than a 4-year fan,
Yeah.
but fostering lifelong gymnastics fans and stuff, like, that's a massive thing because then it turns into people wanting to attend all these events and stuff and
Raising their
et cetera,
family
et
on
cetera.
it, like,
Mhm.
it has
And
to,
that
like we have to start literally from 0 and just
And
re-go.
that's what's missing right now is there's just obviously something US like or not US, but men's gymnastics in general in the States is obviously dying, and that's something that he should be very focused on. But in general, like, just the marketing, the event planning, the management, all of that really needs to be taken to the next level, and there's so much that can be done.
So
Um
much, and there's just so much more, like, even interactive stuff, like, you look at things like NFL and, like, their activations that they have throughout the country, and even track
mm,
and field is getting more, like, hands-on, not just regular standard track and field events, like, they're doing, like, pop-ups, and it's
yeah.
just there's so much that can be done, and I know gymnastics and cheerleaders, like, there will always be this weird beef, but, like, I almost wish that they would take some of the activation approaches from all-star cheerleading and bring them to the gymnastics world, because I think they have a really good way of incorporating it beyond just the competitions, and, like, I just feel like
Mhm,
there are so many good resources that USAG just has not tapped into yet, and I just
mhm.
hope that he, kind of coming from a non-traditional type of gymnastics background, can maybe bring that expertise here and make it work for USAG, if
Yeah,
that
there's something a lot of people are kind of like, "Well, what does an MLS person, like, who doesn't have a gymnastics background have any business doing in the sport?" And I'm just like, "Actually,
Yeah.
of course,
He can
having
make
some
it
background
digestible.
yes, of course, having gymnastics experience is good, but everyone around him has experience in gymnastics and stuff.
Yeah.
So if he is open-minded and a story with the Washington Post that one of our colleagues, Emily Giambalvo, wrote, he basically said that like he's focused on as soon as he gets into his position, the first thing he's doing is listening. He's going to have conversations with athletes, coaches, other figureheads and people in the sport.
Yeah.
And that's the number one thing that you have to do, especially when you don't know the sport. You have to learn it.
100%. Yeah.
Um, and some of that's gonna take time and some of that can obviously be picked up pretty quickly.
Mhm.
But that being said, he brings so much experience in this other realm that I think it's a very promising hire. I'm not gonna sit here and say that it's gonna be like a home run
Yeah.
hire
There's
for
always, like, issues that each one
Mhm.
encounters, but I think at this point, it's kind of like, "Okay, we've tried everything else.
Yeah,
Let's
and I
bring in
think
somebody with an
you
MLS background and see what happens."
yeah, like Lily set him up set him up well. So I think that he's got everything. He has great a great opportunity in front of him, and this can really be taken to the next level, especially ahead of LA.
I
And
agree.
hopefully, we look at also making the sport just overall more accessible to the youth, and just about like even at the fan level, the media level and stuff. There's just so much where it's just like it could just be more
Better.
accessible.
Yep,
Yeah.
I agree.
Um, so instead of, these barriers, we want people being able to watch it and engage with it and all of these things. So that's how we make gymnastics fans. So,
Yep.
all right, heading into our last segment of the episode, we get to dive into more of a pop culture and real life headlines in the gym world. In Gymnasts Are People Too. And Carissa is going to lead this one and let us know about some stuff Simone's been saying on TikTok.
Yeah. So, our story headline, I'm sure some of you have saw it, is that Simone did a get unready with me and shared some fun facts. It was actually
Mhm.
really cute. I believe she had Jonathan on FaceTime while she filmed this, and I thought
Yeah, I
that was
heard
like,
that.
yeah, just such like an adorable touch that like he makes her feel that comfortable. Anyways,
Mhm.
it was just nice. It's nice to see this side of her. We're getting a much more personal, a much more human side of her as she steps into the social media journey. So
Yeah,
that's been very fun. But yes, in her recent Get Unready with Me on TikTok, she shared some wild and hilarious fun facts about herself with her audience, which includes, but is not limited to, these are not all of them. These are the ones that piqued my interest the most. Um, the first one was that she believed when she was younger that only boys with the name Adam had Adam's apples. And I died. I was like, "That is something that I would do." Like, that is so funny. And she also noted that her brother's name is Adam, and so, you
that's
know,
probably where she really
probably
became
where she
apparent.
got it from,
I was
yeah.
actually looking at Henry, like maybe it was today, and I had randomly thought about that, and I was just like, "That's so funny."
It's so
I
I
was like,
know, I'm like,
does his
"That's so funny." That's such like a
um
true like, it just goes to show, like, all of our brains are just the same, like, we think such random things.
when you're a kid, you really
Oh
come
my
up with like
god.
crazy things.
You take 2 and 12 and they're the same number, like, you don't care.
Yeah,
They're related. The next one was that which I personally loved. She's allergic to most lip glosses, and she's not sure what the active ingredient is that she's allergic to yet. But Simone, girlfriend, I'm the same way. I can't use Summer Fridays, can't use like majority of lip products. The only one that I can use is Ole Hendrickson. That's why I always have it. Shout out, not
oh,
sponsored. But my
wish it was.
I know, literally. But my lips, like, when I try anything else, they get, like, the red ring around it, almost like they're chapped,
Oh,
but they're not. It's like an allergic reaction, and they'll crack and bleed. So,
hmm.
Simone, when you know what the active ingredient is, let a girl know because I don't know what it is that I'm allergic to as well, but I also feel that.
I'm sure a
Um,
makeup brand would totally like partner with her and figure it out. A makeup
100%.
brand should take that opportunity.
100%. Marketing genius Patricia. Look at you go. Maybe you should be the next president of USAG.
Hello, Kyle. Reach out. We can talk.
I'm dead. I'm so dead. Okay, the next one is she thought that every kid was adopted simply because
Oh,
she was adopted. And I think that that is so sweet because you hear a lot about like people picking on kids who are adopted and things like that. And it's just nice that like she sounds like she had somewhat of a different experience where she just thought like she was normal and everybody was adopted because she was
yeah.
adopted. And I just think that that's so cute. Um, this one gets a little eye emoji. She said she's had 3
We've
plastic.
already kind of discussed about this.
Yes, she said she's had 3 plastic surgeries, but she did say that 2 of them you wouldn't know she had.
But then she
So
admitted to them, right?
no.
Oh yeah, she like commented them. I do know
Oh,
about
did
this.
she? What'd she say?
Yeah, so she had the the breast implants. And
Mhm.
then which people have been really weird about, and they're just like, "Oh, she can't compete in LA." Like,
You guys
I
are
don't doubt Simone Biles, whatever.
literally.
That being said, she did comment. She replied to a comment, and so of course she got the boob job. And then she got a lower blip because she
Oh,
had eye bags and like an earlobe thing, and then no. So she had the eye bags, and then she got her earlobe repaired because she got her earrings ripped out when she was younger. She's a gymnast.
yeah.
That's not shocking.
Yeah, no.
So
I did that in college going out.
so yeah. So those are the three. Let's not be
Oh.
worried about Simone's plastic surgeries.
No, literally don't be weird. Also, what a weird stance to take on someone's body that now they can't do a sport because of something that they got done. That's so weird.
I mean, if
Anyway,
that's her choice, that's her choice. But I'm sure she can try these things. So.
exactly. And the last one before we go is that she was committed to UCLA before she went professional. And my hot take on that is that I think if it was not to like commit so far in advance, I think she would have been a better fit on the LSU team
Huh.
because she has a lot more sass. And I feel like UCLA is very like creative and like artistic, but I feel like Simone is like sass, edge, and that gives me LSU vibes. That's my personal take. That's all.
I think I could see her at LSU. I think if there was any other team besides UCLA, it'd probably be LSU.
Yeah, for
I
sure.
don't know if I could see her like really anywhere else. Hello, cat. But yeah, I don't know if NIL was like a thing when Simone was like coming up and stuff. I wonder if she would have still competed in NCAA. But I don't know. She's just so big. I don't think it probably would have still. I think even
Mm-mm.
with NIL, she wouldn't have done it. But okay, those are some fun takes. Let us know which one you relate to most. Or if I don't know if she said anything else, but if she said anything
She's had a
else, let
ton of
us know.
other stuff. So if you liked one of the other ones, let us know. Fun fact, she is 4'8". That's her official height. Point blank period. A lot of
I do
places
know that.
say like 4'10" or 4'11". She is 4'8".
Yep, I do know that, and I do know that her and Jocelyn Robertson, I believe, are the exact same height. But once Joss made national team, Simone used to always be at the end of the lineup because she was the shortest. She was like, "Nope, I get seniority. You're at the end
Mm-hmm.
of the lineup. Thank you."
Mm-hmm.
So,
Love that. As she
they
should.
are they're world champions and her teammates, and it was not mean. That
No,
was just
it's
them
so
being
fun.
funny. They're buddies. Okay, cool. Well, that is trying to get into the podcast. So we are going to wrap it up. Make sure you're following our social platforms and following us on YouTube, Spotify, or wherever else you get your podcasts. And my light just went out, so that means it's time to go.
Time to go.
Okay, we'll see you next week.
Love y'all.
Bye.
Bye.